When you pinged your first pong, you were being prepared for something. When you downed your first Martian, when you ate your first power pill, you were being prepared for something far greater. Because those game machines were early versions of computers. And what you were being prepared for was a real version of a computer, the Commodore VIC-20. Games like you've never seen before, but more important, true computing. Commodore VIC-20, a real computer for the price of a toy. Rather than compare personal computers ourselves, we asked the computers which one was better on the basis of price and memory. The Apple II preferred the Commodore 64. Then we asked the IBM, and it picked the Commodore 64. Then the Radio Shack chose the Commodore 64. That's what we like about our competition. They're so honest. The Commodore 64, what nobody else can give you at twice the price.
I see by your job application, you've scored 6 million on the video game Munchman.
Yeah?
And I see you shot down 2 billion aliens from the planet Mongo.
Yeah.
You are good at computer games. So what do you know about computers?
If you're going to spend your time playing video games, why not play them in something that can also teach you about computing? Get a Commodore VIC-20. It's tough to grow up in a computer age without learning about computers.
They didn't buy a Commodore computer, and they'd rather not be recognized.
My computer costs 3 times as much as the Commodore 64.
For the same memory.
Commodore games cost almost half as much as my games.
Commodore business programs cost about 1/3 as much.
If you don't look into Commodore before you buy a computer, you'll be sorry.
I could have saved the school, so much.
For the price of a Commodore 64, here's what you get from Apple, from IBM. For what it costs to add a Commodore disk drive, Apple, IBM. Add a Commodore printer, Apple, IBM, the PC Junior. Add a Commodore modem, and now you can get an Apple IIe or an IBM PC Junior with 3 games. Is it any wonder Commodore sells more computers than Apple and IBM combined?
Why buy just a video game from Atari or Intellivision? Invest in the wonder computer of the 1980s for under $300, the Commodore VIC-20. Unlike games, it has a real computer keyboard. With the Commodore VIC-20, the whole family can learn computing at home. Plays great games, too. Under $300, the wonder computer of the 1980s, the Commodore VIC-20.
Coming soon, Commodore brings you Gorf, the Wonder arcade game, and Omega Race in home versions. Commodore.
You better be good. You better look straight. Cause you really want that 128. Commodore's new 128. You'll use it for your homework. You'll use it to get dates. For English, math, and science class. And it's fun to hack around. Tell your folks you need a higher intelligence at a lower price. Commodore's new 128.
This is a Commodore home computer system. With it, you can learn music, take care of your household accounts, file your lists, type your letters, get into telecommunications, and entertain your family. But it all starts with the Commodore 64 or VIC-20. And now is the right time to start because the price of all Commodore software is now up to 50% less. Commodore computers, in more homes than any other home computers.
Become great at Pac-Man and you could be the envy of the neighborhood. Become great at the Commodore VIC-20 home computer and you could own the neighborhood.
To match the higher intelligence of the new Commodore 128, an Apple IIc would have to add 2 extra ports, 2 more voices, 4 instruments, a keypad, block graphics, and much more. Now, which do you think is the smarter Christmas present? The new Commodore 128, a higher intelligence at a lower price. Buy a Commodore 128 or 1571 disk drive now and get free software. See your retailer.